So there's that. Speaking of George Floyd, I've been saying this since George Floyd. There's going to be a window of time when there's going to be a backlash around the George Floyd guilt, because people gave their money during the summer George Floyd and maybe a year after. But I said there's going to be a window that will close very quickly in corporate America, in the country. And I feel like we're experiencing, and it's going to bleed into 2024 in the election cycle as well. Is also hitting the courts, right? And I've been saying this, y'all. I'm not a prognosticator. You just kind of know. Barack Obama's election gave us 8 years of a backlash that gave us Trump. Like, that was all about the audacity, not of hope, of electing a black man as president. People showed up to say, this does not represent me. And George Floyd and all of the guilt and white fragility and all of the books, because this publishing is responsible too. You put out 11 books around this, just putting it in white people's face that they need to be better. Don't nobody want to be better. So you just made them mad. And I'm not excusing it. Yes, all of the books should be out there. But now we got book bans and legislation, and all of this anti-woke is in a direct result to George Floyd. Can you imagine that a man lost his life? We all watched it during the pandemic, 9 minutes and 26 seconds. And y'all are big mad about the legislation and things that came out as a result of the evil, including Juneteenth, which I do not think should be a federal holiday. That was an overreach by this government. That was unnecessary. Nobody asked you to do that. And whoever asked, I need you to come forward because I have some words for you. That's our holiday. Now folk get to not work on a, just it's illogical. All right, I'm sorry. I'm having a stream of consciousness. Can we bring some logic into life? Period. Before I get to this story about Starbucks. So Keke Palmer goes to the airport, right? And she's got breast milk because she just had a baby. They make her throw out the breast milk for her baby, right? And I'm saying, do we think Keke Palmer is a terrorist? Do we think do we think in the bottle is some accelerant that's going to blow up the plane? Do you think that? Like, at some point, TSA, y'all got to use some common sense. That's Keke motherfucking Palmer. She's not the Unabomber or the underwear bomber. She's not getting on the plane. She got a baby. That's milk from her breast. You know that it is. Here, look, the baby's drinking it. Can you let her on the plane with the breast milk? Like, we are so backwards here. I digress. All right, I just had to put that out because there's no logic in this world. If number two, black women are not we don't fit the description of a terrorist. I don't know I don't know where black women have done these. We haven't been in the insurrection. I didn't even see a single black woman. I saw a couple of black men. I didn't see a single black woman out there January 6th. We don't get on planes. We ain't blowing up stuff. Okay, maybe the lady that drove the car, but y'all killed her, and that was an accident. Let me see. Joanne Chesimard, nope, she was not what you said she was. So I'm just trying to, Asada Shakur, figure out why you took Keke Palmer's breast milk, but I digress. All right, so Tonya Pinkins is here. Starbucks fired a woman, and I'm sure you remember this case. 2018, April, 2 black men went to Starbucks in Philly, Rittenhouse Square in that neighborhood in Philly for a business meeting. They were waiting for a business partner. One of them got up to go use the bathroom. He was refused, black man. This went viral. Their white business partner showed up and it got into a big thing. Police were called. Everything was captured on video. They were escorted out. Now, Starbucks apologized publicly. They described the way the men had been treated. They said it was reprehensible. Starbucks took extraordinary steps. They closed 8,000 of their stores to teach their workers about racial bias. You remember this case because I remember it like it was yesterday. We're going to talk about race. Well, on Monday, a manager who was fired, a white manager who was fired in the wake of this, sued. On Monday, a New Jersey court, a federal jury, ordered Starbucks to pay this white woman $25.6 million. White woman, former regional manager, she was presiding over this. They blamed her. She lost her job, determining that the company fired her because she was white. I knew this was coming, y'all. And everybody pushing for reparations, which you're owed. It's how you do it. it's like we don't have enough strategic planners out here to even know how to surgically. Where the Thurgood Marshalls? I'm gonna need some Thurgood Marshalls and some Paulie Murrays. Y'all just out here blah. It's gonna be worse if you don't do it right. Anyway, the jury found that Starbucks had violated the federal civil rights of this manager. Her name is Shannon Phillips, as well as a New Jersey law that prohibits discrimination based on race. They awarded her $600,000 in compensatory damages and $25 million in punitive damages. This is a jury. These people on the jury. Do y'all serve? Okay. I'm not saying she don't deserve it, but I'm just like, this is interesting. Phillips, who oversaw 100 stores in Philadelphia, South Jersey, Delaware, and parts of Maryland. She had been promoted to the job in 2011 for exemplary performance in the 6 years as district manager. She said that Starbucks, as part of damage control after the arrest, sought to punish her and other white employees in and around Philadelphia, even if they had not been involved in the event. So she threw herself into the company's efforts to restore its credibility. She sought hourly workers. She got into an altercation with one of her superiors, who was a Black woman, who told her to suspend a white manager who oversaw the stores in Philly, though he didn't have anything to do with the Rittenhouse case. So she refused to do that. So she got fired, which is wrong, right? $25 million in punitive damages and $600,000 in compensatory
she wouldn't have
damages.
made that much money in her life. They're going to appeal that and they're going to win.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they are.
I think who's going to appeal it? Starbucks?
Yeah.
They're going to pay that money.
No, they're not.
Okay, let's put some money on it.
Okay, nickel.
So you feel like they're going to appeal. I think they're going to pay it.
They are not paying that woman $25 million for being fired for being white.
Yes, they will. This is the country. Are you paying attention to where we are right now, Tonya Pinkins? They're going to pay that money. But I feel like this we need to be vigilant and also pay attention to what's happening. And this is to me a sign, because it wasn't a judge, it was a jury in New Jersey. New Jersey, y'all, I live in Jersey. It is a complicated state. Let me just say that. Elected Chris Christie twice. Let me say that. Jersey is a complicated state. It is not a blue state. It is not a state of people. Some people will have Black Lives Matter, and then you're going to see an American flag, which up here means something similar to the Confederate flag down there. I'm not saying you can't be patriotic and put your flag out for July 4th and all of that, but it sends a message in Jersey. And I feel like this is a sign of the people. You know, I feel like we need to be really careful. Those of you, did you watch yesterday? Trump getting arrested with a motorcade and went out to a fancy lunch afterwards, came to Jersey, Bedminster, and gave a speech last night. Did you see that? None of it?
No, I would not. I'm not giving him any attention whatsoever.
Okay. All right. Well, Rachel Maddow agrees with you. Last night I didn't watch any of it either. I've cleansed myself of most of the quote unquote cable news. I don't watch that except for CNBC. And I've watched Bloomberg this weekend. Watched Ursula Burns and some others. But yeah, I'm not watching that. But it's interesting to me. So Rachel Maddow last night refused to do what the other networks were doing, which was showing Trump in Bedminster with his fundraising speech.
And I do not say this with any glee. I hope it is clear that this is not a glib decision. We take our responsibilities seriously. We revisit decisions like this all the time. We make the best call that we can in real time, every time. But tonight, our call is this. We will monitor that speech by the newly indicted former president. We will not carry his remarks live. If he says anything newsworthy, we promise we will turn that right around and bring it back to you.
Thank you. Finally, somebody with a backbone and some courage and some integrity. Thank you, Rachel Maddow. I'm not going to thank all of MSNBC because they're not all the same. But yeah, this is some strange times that we're in. 866-801-8255. I'm in the Nubia chat right now, and Michelle was like, why did they fire the Starbucks woman? It didn't make sense. I was like, because they overreacted, right? And in that time, that summer of George Floyd, nobody wanted to be labeled racist. So I feel like, again, common sense, just like Keke Palmer's breast milk, common sense should come into play. That woman did not deserve to be fired. for not wanting to fire someone that had nothing to do with the incident at that store. So that's why I think Starbucks is going to definitely pay her money. $25 million is a lot, but we're also in a certain climate where people are feeling beleaguered, and we need to listen because they're saying something, whether it's right or not, Tonya, whether it's right or not, they are saying something that will impact our lives. So I feel like we need to be hearing what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. You don't agree?
Mm-hmm.
Phone.
That's why I'm getting out of here.
Well, you can.
That's
get out.
right.
Yes.
I will tell you that I went to Chase. I left Chase because I had some money in the bank and I tried to transfer money from one of my accounts to the other one, and my money just disappeared for about 3 days. 3 days, it's not in my bank. It's not in the account I transferred it from. It's not in the account I transferred it to. And when I got on the phone about 4 times, they got snippy with me. So I thought, well, it'll be easier when I go into the bank. I go into the bank. I've been known this banker. We've sat down together for 7 years. Oh, this piece of ID you have, we don't accept.
But you know me.
But you know me. But this ID, which is a national ID, but you don't accept it. Okay, well, I say, that's fine. I'm going to just come take all my money out of here. And that's what I did. Now I got to find a new bank and carry a whole lot.
And I'm not, listen, I'm not mad at you for that. I have threatened to do that many times, which is why I spread the wealth, literally. Make sure that I have many options. But yeah, I mean, it's a tricky, weird space that we're in. Things don't make any sense. There's no logic. People react based to the letter. It's not in the books, so I'm not going to do it, but it's illogical.
This is my first time actually calling in. So, so I was calling because I remember that case that you're talking about, the 2018 case, where those 2 men were escorted out of a Starbucks when they were just there for the interview. They were escorted out by cops. Mm-hmm. And so that was the reason why I chose not to go to Starbucks or give them any of my money. So just fast forwarding to today, you don't hear any mention of those 2 men, what happened to them. You don't even know if they even got the job. You don't know if they got paid by Starbucks. You don't know anything about them. But hearing what you just said about the white woman getting a settlement, potentially getting a settlement, was very, very upsetting. Just kind of considering the whole circumstance and what happened. I think that, a lot of people maybe forgot about it or have since been removed from it, but I have not forgotten about that case at all.
I mean, it was disturbing because they got their names were Rashawn Nelson and Dante Robinson. They were escorted out by the police in handcuffs. And it was like, oh, so we can't just, and this is before George Floyd, right? So for a lot of people watching that, it's like, we can't even safely go to a Starbucks. But I did not blame Starbucks. I blame that store and the store manager. And that store and the store manager should have been definitely fired. This woman wasn't even the manager of that store. She actually was the supervisor over 100 stores, of which this one might have been one. And then she was asked to fire all of the white managers, right? So that's where the problem comes in, when her black supervisor told her to fire the white managers, right? And she refused to do that. So she got fired. So this is a case where, again, Starbucks shut down all their stores. They had a whole meeting about, racial sensitivity, and they did what they were supposed to do. But the manager, the black woman, telling them, this gets complicated. And at some point, we have to be able to have these conversations and not just be on the side of black just because we're black, and really have the conversation about what's right and wrong. So let me just ask you, 866-801-8255, and welcome to the Call-In family. Erica, as today, so you stopped going to Starbucks altogether. You blame the entire chain for what happened in Philly.
Yes, because Starbucks is a huge franchise, and for them to not have gotten it right then, and then moving forward to firing the white managers, I feel like there, like you said, are discussions that are not being had. They're a huge franchise, so if if I, as a nurse, for instance, have to sit there and watch, we have to watch diversity inclusion, and we have to train and all of that. And, we have to also be able to be racially sensitive with patients, and, culturally sensitive with patients. If we have to do that, they should be doing that as well. I think that this conversation should have been had a long time ago, and it should have been just properly handled from supervision to management to going all the way down to the baristas.
Yes, and right, Erica, and thank you again for calling in for the first time. Don't be a stranger. So I brought up the Keke Palmer case because, again, common sense has to play a role, but the TSA has strict rules, right? You can't let any liquid over this amount to go on. I mean, I've traveled with my baby oil or whatever, and they're like, nope, you got to leave it here, got to throw it out. Got a little bottle of water. Look, it's water. Doesn't matter. I'm drinking it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You got to get water when you come in. You can't reason when people are following the letter of the law. At that Starbucks, it probably said, if you're not buying something, you can't use the bathroom. So if these two men were like, we're going to wait here, we're not leaving. If you're not trained, and maybe it's racial, definitely, because it's baked in. It's baked in. But if the rule says, and again, we hire people that don't have thinking brains. I feel like there are too many of us that don't think analytically or think out of the box, to say this is wrong behavior. So if that one manager was racist for calling the cops because these people were not buying food, and then they wanted to use the bathroom, and the rules say that they cannot use the bathroom unless they're purchasing something, because that's what it says in my handbook, then I have the right to call the police. You're not thinking about the ramifications of somebody's life, especially if you live in privilege. So that's the other thing. So it may not have been a willful thing. I'm not giving passage. I'm just saying that as we walk through and have these conversations, we should be having full conversations, not just conversations out of our bias, or out of our experience, because that makes us no better than folk, who are racist in many ways, right? Because they're having a conversation out of their experience. Right? They feel that they're 100% right with no perspective. So I'm just trying to offer a little perspective today. I think this woman's going to get all her money. I don't think she should have been fired. I don't think she should have gotten $25 million, but I also know it's Jersey. And it's a jury in Jersey, which to me, I'm like, Jersey is racist. A lot of parts of it. Not